Hey everybody, welcome to the Midnight Frightcast, episode number 97. I am your host, the Doctor of Filmonomics, Greg. With us this day, is our Scream Queen herself, Maddy.
Where's my $10?
I did not hear you woo. Did you woo?
Where's my $10? I'm not giving you woo if I don't get, let's just move on.
Fair enough.
Now it's getting weird.
We've got the Doctor of Everything Else, Patrick.
Hey everybody, how's it going?
And everybody's favorite intern, Josh.
Woo!
Josh gets the $10.
$10. Hook me up. In the box, I wooed. Come on.
Wooed for $10. All right, let's just get rocking and rolling right into it. We watched a trailer. That trailer was The Strangers, Chapter 1. They're rebooting it. Yay. Who wants to jump in there? Maddie, jump in there.
I'm not jumping in. This is Josh's turn to have a tantrum.
Josh,
I want to hear the
tangent
I'll
and rant.
I'm not going to tantrum, though, because upon rewatch, with some of the things that I kind of saw in there, I'm not sure if it's necessarily going to be a reboot, because they put a piece in there where they talk about how the strangers became the strangers.
Mm-hmm.
And so are they prequeling the strangers, or are they rebooting the strangers? That's my new question. And I missed that piece upon the first time watching the trailer. With that, again, there's a lot of pieces from the original Strangers movie that they put in this trailer that makes you think it could be a reboot. And they like expand on those pieces, like the two were they Mormon kids or whatever?
Yeah,
they're in that original movie. Is that right? Or is that what they are? I don't know.
believe so.
That's what I wrote down as a note. I put down Children of the Corn LDS kids.
Okay. They're in the original movie for like 3 minutes, like nothing. And they seem like they're going to be a bigger piece of. So my point is, like, they're taking pieces from the original film and they're kind of expanding on those pieces. But it does look like, the exact original copy and paste, cutout of the original Strangers movie. Maddie brought up a good point in the chat the other day: is how the hell are they going to make 3 of these?
Mm-hmm.
Are they going to be 3 separate stories? Is it going to be a continuation thing? What are they doing with the strangers is my question.
Maddie, care to jump in now?
I guess. So I don't have an issue with The Strangers. It's just very much one of those not for me movies. I don't know. It's kind of a slow burn, and that's just not for me. But yeah, I have a lot of questions about that. While you guys were talking, I just looked up, and it does say this is supposed to act as a prequel.
Mm-hmm.
But that said that on Wikipedia, so take it with a big old grain of salt. But yeah, I don't know. There was a lot of like just kind of mismatches. Like one of the descriptions for this says their car broke down, and then the trailer they were very much not breaking
Mm-hmm.
down. They're like just rolling up into what I assume is an Airbnb to like I don't know. It just, as you said, it's just a copy and paste like remake from what it looks like, and just I don't know. It's not doing a lot for me. It's very florals for spring. Very I don't know, but I also think the like making it 3 different movies is kind of weird, because again, like what are you gonna do? Like even if these like 3 people go to 3 different people's home, you're just repeating the same movie over and over and over again. And then there's also that thing where we said you can't have a horror movie with smart people, and like I'm not saying these people are dumb yet, but just like when you're driving around a town and everyone's making you like super uncomfortable, I don't know about you, but I'd be like, yeah, let's just cancel our reservations and get out of here. And if they have that option, I'm like, why didn't you pick that? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to dog on this too much, but I don't know if I'll chase it.
Okay.
Oh, I'm chasing. I'm running as fast as I can.
I know you are. This is like your movie. I'm gonna wait to see what you think of it before I take a nosedive into it.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
yeah, my fat ass ain't chasing anything.
Patrick, what do you got?
I jumped on the lines. I think Josh had pointed them out, how the strangers became the strangers. So, with that being stated, I want to know more than just this is our first kill, and that's how we became the strangers. I kind of want to know why they're the strangers. Why did these three individuals decide to band up with each other and then decide to do this home invasion killing? I it's just not, you just don't see three people sitting at a bar and then after, some Jaeger bombs, they say, hey, you know what would be fun?
You don't hang out with the right people, Patrick.
There's got to be some story behind it. Maybe I'd like to see that and see, how many people really want to see character development of killers. But sometimes maybe that kind of could help the story and make it set apart from the first movie. I agree with Josh. There just seemed a lot of elements from that first movie. Instead of two people going from their wedding thing situation to a place to stay for the night, it's two people, their vehicle broke down, so they're going to stay at this place. The situation really isn't that much different. And when you're throwing in the same fucking lines as before, then
Right. Yeah.
how is it going to sustain three stories?
And you're right, Patrick. I hope they spend, if they're going to make 3 chapters, I hope they spend not a whole movie, but a small chunk of chapter 1 just on the 3 people that are essentially the strangers and what their deal is. Doesn't have to be 45 minutes of an hour and a half movie. Give me 15, 20. Give me a small chunk and just tell me why.
Give me a shot of a person walking out of an insane asylum.
Yeah, give something.
That's
I hope it's Demon LDS Kids. I actually would be like super fucking pumped if that's what it turned out to be. Is just like 3 people from the LDS church who all the indoctrination and cult shit and children touching finally fucking got to them, and then they just like went on.
I would take that, Maddie. I think that would be, you could go with that. The line changing, Patrick, too, and it's an iconic line, really, from that movie, is, why are you doing this? Because you were home. They changed it with one word, but I mean, it's essentially the same goddamn line as the original movie. So, and the shot that is in the original Strangers that I love, which is Liv Tyler, she's like standing at a window or something, and you just see the guy come out of the shadows, and you get that one shot, which I'm a big fan of. They kind of did the same thing in this trailer where she's in the shower and they just kind of slide the camera over slightly and he's right there. It's the same goddamn shot, but I still appreciate those things.
No,
So,
it is not the same shot. One is
the same shit.
No, it is not. It's a pot boiling shot versus a jump scare.
That's not a jump scare. Did you jump? Were you scared?
No.
Not a jump scare.
It's an attempt at a jump scare then. It's
think
that quick reveal of whatever. It's the original Stranger shot was iconic. Absolutely iconic.
It was better.
It was so much better. This was a cheap facsimile of what that was.
My point was, it's the same idea.
Same idea. I will give you same idea, yes. But the original Strangers was done so much better than that.
I agree with that. We don't have to fight.
No. I want to defend the original Strangers.
Right.
And this might be a good segue into what I'm about to say, in that I'm so upset at this trailer because it is a cheap facsimile of what the original Strangers was. First off, why do we need to know the why? What's so important about that? One of the creepiest factors of the original Strangers, and it's said in both the movie and this trailer, because you were home. How terrifying is that we are so psychotic, such psychotic people that we're just going to show up, knock on the door. If you answer, you're done. I don't need to know the why. I don't want to know the why. That's why enough for me. And so now they're breaking this out into 3 episodes of they're going to show us why these people are like that. That doesn't appeal to me at all. But
I don't want a whole episode, Greg. So I'm sorry to step on your toes.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
But I don't need a whole episode of it. But if they can make a copy, a carbon copy of the Strangers and just do the same thing, or they could take that one little piece that Patrick and I were talking about and at least add a new piece into the movie. If it just adds one different thing into the movie, that would be the piece that I would want. Give something. If you just want to make the same repeat movie and you want to see that, great. What Patrick and I were talking about, essentially was taking a little background piece for those characters just to have something different, a different element to the movie.
But see, that takes it away for me. I don't want to know about these characters. All I know about them is that they wear bags over their heads and they just kill people because they choose to answer the door. And that's good enough for me. That's what made the original Strangers as creepy and iconic as it was. Patrick, go ahead.
And I would say that is good enough for me. Then don't state in your trailer how the Strangers became the Strangers. Exactly.
And that's why I hate myself, because I'm probably going to watch this just because I love the original Strangers. And it fucking pains me to say it. I want to see what they do and how they ruin this, but I don't want to watch this. I was very not interested in Strangers 2, and they basically gave us a similar one as the Strangers 1 just 10 years later. And it was okay.
I love the Strangers 2.
It was okay. It was okay. It was okay. It was that. Let's see, Maddie. It wasn't the gravy train. It was the
shit train.
The shit train. It was the shit train that was fun to watch because it was basically the same stuff over and over again. They just did the different ones. That pool scene, loved it. Absolutely loved the pool scene. But I don't want to go back and I don't want to see that. The other thing that bothered me about this trailer was this couple is just, they're out on vacation, they're getting away, they're happy, they're in love, whatever, whatnot. The other piece that drove the original Strangers was Liv Tyler and I can't remember his name, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Scott Speedman.
Thank you.
Liv Tyler and Scott Speedman. There was tension between the two of them going right from the beginning of that movie. So there's that already leveled up element between the two of them. And now you've got freaking Psychopath 1, 2, and 3 knocking at the door asking for Tamara. And you've got a whole mess of stuff going on there. To me, this just feels like another Cabin Fever.
There's 1,000.
It's another cabin out in the woods type movie of that. And like you said, there's 1,000 of them. I don't think we need this, but we're going to get it.
Somebody tell me that if you're on your 2024 bingo card, that Greg would be angrier than Maddy on a podcast. It wasn't on mine.
Surprise, motherfuckers.
Yeah, I said for me, I'm gonna go out and chase all 3 chapters of this movie and see what they do. So, but Greg, it's nice to hear that you had so much fire about
rage.
Yeah.
Now Kith.
There's Kith. There's plenty of Kith.
And going back to our original conversation too, this trailer was 2 minutes and 25 seconds. Too much?
Too much.
By far.
Smidge.
By far too much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Knock it to a minute and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easily.
You know what's funny is as people remake these kind of movies, it's kind of, I don't know, I just don't see how they're working with today's audience, because I don't know a single motherfucker under the age of 40 that's going to answer their door unless they order DoorDash or they know
Right.
someone's coming. Like, I never answer my door. If I hear the knock and I'm like, did I get a pizza? No, then I don't answer the door. So I kind of just wonder how this is going to relate to audiences, because I'm like, nobody's answering their fucking door. No one's answering their phone.
That's standard operating procedure when you are in your own home, let alone being at an Airbnb in the middle of freaking nowhere. Are you going to answer the door?
Yeah, no. Like, why don't I just cut my own foot off? I
Right?
can do it myself. I don't need someone coming in and cutting my own foot off.
Moving along onto happier topics, we do have a topic here. Movies that we'd like to revisit. Yay! I'm gonna put in some happy, glorifying trumpet fanfare music there.
I'm not sure. I'm not even sure it's a happier topic, but it's a topic.
I don't either. Again, I just don't know how to introduce it better than that.
Did we also limit that to the past 5 years? I believe.
Okay, so I broke that rule. So I broke my own rule like an asshole. So,
well, then we could be here all afternoon.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, again, I didn't really. Well, I think I only broke it with one of the films. I'm not quite sure yet. And I only had 3. So, I may have only broke it with one of the films.
So Josh, you have 3. Patrick, how many do you have?
I've got 5.
Oh my. Okay.
Okay.
But
Matt,
I could just throw them out there and say why, and
sure.
I'm done.
Maddie, how many did you have?
2.5, 3.
2.5, 3. Okay.
2.5.
I have 2, so let's just roll with it.
Yeah, I mean, let's also go with kind of why.
Yes, these are movies that we've that have passed us in the last 5 years, and we want to go back and check them out. And here's why. So, Josh, hit us.
Oh shit! Do you want me to do all 3?
That's do all 3 of them. Yeah, we'll just wreck them out.
I thought we left that round robin discussion back in 2019.
I'm ending it now.
I don't remember any conversations from back in 2019, to be honest with you. But I'm sure we did.
That's
so just real quick, the 3 films that are on my list were just revisits because I only watched them once and I remember them being great and I remember them all being different. And I know I have not it's been years. Well, the year they came out was the year I checked it out. So, and they were just, they're films that were all on my top 10 from the past few years. And when I listen to those episodes, I go, oh yeah, I remember that film, but I only watched it the one time. So, my 3 films are, One Cut of the Dead. I remember really digging on when we watched that film back in 2020, maybe, in that general vicinity. And our overall thoughts and how different that movie was. When we walked into a zombie movie and we were like, it's going to be another zombie movie, and it wasn't. It was just way different and went so much the other way. But I haven't seen it since that original viewing. The other film, the second film I have on there was, does anybody remember watching The Girl with All the Gifts? Does anybody remember that movie?
No.
Again, was on my top 10 list. I watched the one time. Again, another film that I remember just being so weirdly different, but I remember enjoying it a lot. And when I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, I remember that. And again, another film that I just want to revisit because you don't remember everything. You just remember how differently kind of weird it was, and how great of a watch it was. And the last film I have on here, and I forgot about this film, but I went and revisited it again, a 2020 our top 10 podcast, and it was the number 1 film that I had on that year. Patrick had it on the list, and I'm not sure about Greg, but Tigers Are Not Afraid, such a weird movie, and it was such a great movie, and we had such really great things to talk about when we talked about that movie. It was a discussion starter, and while it was, again, it lived in horror, it didn't really live in horror. The horror element was so just like buried in like drama. Um, but I remember it being a really great movie. All had really great things to say about it, and I have not revisited that film or watched that film since that original that time. So those are my 3 revisit films.
Excellent. Maddie, what would you like to go back and see?
One movie I'd like to go back and rewatch is Evil Dead Rise because I watched it last year. That sounds about right. And I
Mhm.
did not like it at all. But on the other hand, I was in a crappy mood when I watched it. And I don't really think me being in a better mood would have really changed it because I didn't like the remake of Evil Dead either.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like I didn't really give it that good of a chance just because I was being a bitch that day. I know our audience can't even imagine that. But I'd like to go back and give that one a fair shot. I couldn't really tell you when because I have a feeling I'd really have to be in like a good mood to give that one a fair shot. Um, the other 2 that I'd like to recheck out are almost for the same reason. I'd really like to rewatch Suspiria, the remake,
Mm-hmm.
because it was a very long movie. And I even think I said this in the podcast that we covered, I felt like I missed a lot of stuff that was going on in the background, stuff that was kind of just like going on with the characters. So I'd really like to give that one another chance. And then the third one is I'd really like to revisit Antrim because I remember liking it, but I do feel like I missed a lot, so I'd kind of like to like watch it again just to see like what I missed because I feel like there's a ton of hidden stuff in that movie and hidden on purpose because that's just kind of how the film was set up for, but like I liked that movie and I'd kind of like to like watch it and like I have a really bad habit of putting movies on and like ADHD braining all over the fucking place
Yep.
and I missed a lot of stuff. So I feel like that's a movie you really, really have to pay attention to. So that is my third one.
Evil Dead Rise, we can add to our list, Maddie, because we haven't talked about that movie on the podcast. We haven't reviewed that movie, and I would totally love to have that conversation. And I'd watch that movie again and have that conversation on the podcast. So
Yeah, let me just make sure I schedule it for when I'm not PMSing like a lumberjack and just being an asshole in general.
noted.
Patrick, you got 5. Hit us.
Yeah, I added one since then, but
You've got
I gotta
6.
say, Josh, One Cut of the Dead. You're 100% right. I do want to go back and revisit that one sometime soon. I've seen it pop up in a couple different places, kind of reminding me, hey, that was a really good movie. A movie that I did revisit is one that I added to my list, and that was Behind the Mask: The Legend of Leslie Vernon.
Yeah.
I just think is an incredibly well written movie because it just attacks the tropes of horror films, and it goes from documentary to mockumentary to real life, and I just think it handles it great. So
there's a documentary called Dreams on Spec, Patrick, where it covers the guy that wrote that movie. He's in that movie, and he talks about how he wrote The Rise of Leslie Vernon and how he got that movie made and stuff. So really
Dreams
cool
on Spec. All right. Yeah. And I kind of stuck for my 5 films. I stuck to what our original thing was, like past 5 years. So some of these kind of hit the cusp there. But the first one I'd written down is Host.
Yeah.
If you don't remember that one, that's the one that it was done during the pandemic and everything. It was done on Zoom, and they have a medium come in. They do a seance online over Zoom that I felt was just handled really, really well. So I'd like to go back and revisit that one. Another one came out during the pandemic called Prey, which was the next Predator movie, but it took place well before the other Predator movies happened. A Stephen King film falls in there, also on the cusp, Dr. Sleep. I would like to revisit that one just because I think they did a good job of adhering to Kubrick's kind of look and feel for The Shining.
I have yet to see that movie.
But if you do see it, get the director's cut. It's much better.
Okay.
A fun little film, Ready or Not. It took place where they had the woman married into a board game family. The family created all these board games, and she ended up having to defend herself all the way through. And then one that was just kind of odd and quirky that I really, really liked. It was called Spree, and it was about the guy that was about a guy that was driving for a company called Spree, kind of like Uber or Lyft, and he live streamed himself killing people.
Okay, I remember you talking about that one. I didn't see that one either.
Yeah, that one just really it was unique. It stood out amongst the rest of the stuff that was happening at the time. And I'd like to visit that one again because, like I said, it was just something that was different.
All right. That's a great list, actually. There's a bunch of them on there I completely forgot about, too. So I had 3. I actually just changed one out because I found one better. Came out in 2019. This is one that I really enjoyed for what it was as a creature feature, was the movie Crawl.
Oh, yeah.
I thought they did really well with it. The CGI was some of the better that I've seen on that type of a film. And yeah, I think that'd be a fun one to go back and rewatch again. Another one I believe we did for our movie swap episode. And I gave this one to Patrick to watch, but I want to go back and rewatch it because I think it's a smarter movie that I wasn't smart enough to appreciate first time around, or having done the background research for it, was the movie The Platform.
Yeah, it was a great movie. Yeah.
And
I thought you were going to say Lavalantula. I'm very
no. Oh, no, absolutely not. And then one you guys might be surprised to hear that I want to go back and revisit because the last time we watched it, I went on a tirade. And that movie was Revenge. I want to go back and watch Revenge.
Yes.
And I think it was, I kind of had that same issue as Maddy where I was just not in a good mood while watching it. And so every little thing torqued me off. And I think it's better than I gave it credit for. And so I want to give it another shot.
Revenge of the Revenge.
Yes.
Yeah, you really ragged on that one.
Yeah, I know it. And I'm older now. I'm more mature. Well, I'm not. But I want to give it a shot and see if I can redeem myself for my little temper tantrum that I had.
Yeah, those are picks.
So
Ready or Not's a really great pick. I forgot about that movie. It's so good. It's really, really good.
Yeah. All right. Moving right along. We all watched a movie. That movie was called Thanksgiving. Patrick, do you have the deets for us?
I sure do. Thanksgiving 2023, running an hour and 46 minutes. Currently streaming on Netflix, unless you have Netflix with ads.
Yeah.
Maddy has entered the chat.
Yeah. After a Black Friday riot ends in tragedy, a mysterious Thanksgiving-inspired killer terrorizes Plymouth, Massachusetts, the birthplace of the infamous holiday. IMDb rating 6.3, Rotten Tomatoes critic rating of 84%, and an audience rating of 80%.
Excellent. Who wants to jump in? Josh wants to jump in.
I mean, that's fine. I mean, Greg kind of like, I watched this last night I started it really late, which was fine. And Greg kind of like gave a little bit of a rundown before, because I was chatting with him before I went back and watched it. And he was like, it starts out as kind of this like comedy horror, and then all of a sudden turns into like Saw and shit. And I'm a huge fan of Eli Roth. There's only one Eli Roth movie that I've seen that I just didn't like. But beyond that, I've just followed all of his stuff, and I'm a fan. And I actually feel like Thanksgiving is the most calm movie he's made. As far as like brutality goes, I think Thanksgiving he pulled back quite a bit, which works out well for him in this film. I had a lot of fun with Thanksgiving. all the kills were like just ridiculous and crazy. And that dumpster kill, I was like, that was the first kill of the movie, and I was like, this is gonna be fucking awesome. When they did that dumpster kill, I was like, you've already sold me. I've already bought in. I can't wait for the rest of this film. I did call real early who the killer was, so I don't say it ruined the ending for me, because it all, it all made sense. I just didn't get to the end and was like, holy shit, I can't believe it. Because I feel like it shows itself real early in that movie who that killer was. I really enjoyed the return of Patrick Dempsey. I haven't seen him in anything in a really long time. I thought that was really cool that he was in there. The guy that plays the dad in the movie, the owner of the Mart or whatever it was called, I've seen him in a bunch of stuff, and I cannot pick out his name, but I really like that actor, and I thought he was great. Cast-wise, overall, I just thought the whole movie was just really well cast and a lot of fun. I like that they tried to do a whole lot of like turns with who the killer could have been, with the kid that left and came back, the new boyfriend. It gave all these kind of like it made an attempt to make to give you a lot of options of who the killer could have been, and so it keeps you on your toes. I feel like throughout the movie, Eli Roth's been trying to make this movie for a long time. I'm glad that it took him this long to make it, because I don't feel like you would have gotten this movie had he tried to make it when he originally tried to make it. I was pretty high up on Thanksgiving. Like I said, I'm a fan of Eli Roth, and this just kind of goes into the bank of films that I enjoy that he did. So that's where I'm at.
Excellent. Patrick, what do you got?
I gotta say that the first 10 minutes of the film really kind of pissed me off, because we know those stories. The mobs at the superstores that trample on each other, that people have died at the things, and it almost, while it was over the top in places, it was also very realistic in places, and it just pisses me off that we have people in our lives that are like that. I don't know anybody personally, but I mean that there are people out there that behave in that way. So I started off this movie just being angry at it. So I'm glad it took the turn to being a little bit more over the top, because that initial kill with the waitress, while the kill itself to me was, no one's gonna get, shit, there's spoilers.
Yep.
She wouldn't die that way, but it was still fun to see
that she did.
It was still fun to see. And there were some things there, like in the freezer, the food freezer in the restaurant before she ran outside. There was some things like that. I was kind of intrigued. I felt that he threw some Saw into this film, not necessarily contraptions, but still kind of the tech behind it, with being able to see what's going on as he's building up towards the end. Just like Josh, I was able to figure out who it was very early on, and I think that was probably more because of the casting than anything else with it. But he did do a good job of supplying enough people to make you wonder who it could be.
Right.
There was enough in there. There were still some people in there I wanted to see die that didn't. The father, I really did want to see him die, but overall, I give it kind of a generic review, because while there was a couple of kills in there that were new, it was pretty much kind of what we've seen before. But it was also kind of refreshing to see something that was kind of that polished in the realm of things that we've seen before.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
There were moments that I wish he could have done a little bit more with, like when the killer was in the big fat security guy's apartment, and after everything is said and done, he stops at the door, turns around, and then feeds the cat before he leaves.
I thought that was great.
And I thought that was awesome, and I wanted to see more things like that.
Yeah.
In the film, because that gave the killer just more character.
Yeah.
Other than just revenge. And then at the end, it's also set up to possibly have some sort of next movie sequel.
Yeah.
And I just don't know what they could do with it. What in the
are you
sequel?
talking about the dream sequence? You talking about that piece?
No. I can't really say.
Careful. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there was something that happened at the end when the firefighters were there. That's all I can actually say without giving away.
Oh, yep, I remember. Yep, I got you. Yep, I got you. Yep.
And they kind of set it up that there's a possibility. Yeah, the dream sequence, no, but that scene prior to that.
Yep, I got it.
Because the character, he's not an immortal. They haven't set anything up like that, but I think they did set up the possibility for a sequel.
Yeah.
But overall, I would say I enjoyed it because it allowed me to not think for a while, just watching a film and not think.
Along with a few other Eli Roth films, and along with the last movie that we just reviewed, it does overstay its welcome, I think, by about 15, 20 minutes. I feel like there's pieces in there that we may or may not have needed. Hour and 46 is long. Mm-hmm. It's long. And he may have been able to tighten it up a little bit, but again, I'm a fan of Eli Roth, so it was good.
And see, I never felt like it was pushing on time limits at all. It was a nice confined story, I guess you could call it. And I feel like he went between each of the sequences relatively, I don't want to say flawlessly, but it was very fluid. That's what I was looking for. Very fluid to get from beginning to end. You know, you go into a movie like this and you don't set your bar too high because you don't know what this is going to be. What kind of a slasher movie is this going to be? And I feel like going in with the bar set just a little bit lower helped make this a little bit better of a film. I haven't been able to get to the theater as often as I'd like to, and the movies that I have gone and seen have been just awful, absolutely awful. And I remember walking out of this one thinking that was worth my money. I'm glad I went and saw that. I enjoyed that movie very much so. And I won't rehash too much because it is very difficult to not talk about it without getting spoilery. But I would recommend this. Absolutely. This is going to be my official favorite Thanksgiving movie to watch over the holiday.
Okay.
Because I don't know of any others.
Well, I'm sure there's something on the Hallmark Channel.
Thanksgiving horror, I should specify.
There's a movie called Thanksgiving.
Yeah. There's like 3 of them.
Really?
Yeah.
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 Okay, this is still going to be my favorite over those.
So, Maddy, tell us why you hate Netflix.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you guys. I looked up fucking numbers to why Netflix is a garbage ass company. So, recently, and I don't really know when, they have changed their membership structure, so you have your standard and then the one below it. The poverty level one is apparently what they're going to call it because it's the standard with ads. And that's the one we went with because me and my partner are not big Netflix people. They just don't carry the films that we normally watch. So we were like, I'm not paying the extra $2 for it. Well, I did some fucking digging because apparently on the Netflix standard with ads, you can't watch the full fucking catalog of Netflix stuff. Well, so there's $2 difference. And there are 260 million Netflix users worldwide. So even if I was the only broke ass bitch who had the standard with ads, you would make the $2 would be just over $500 million. In 2023, they made $1.03 billion in ads alone. So they're making more money off the people who are watching the fucking ads, but they're not allowing them to have the full access to their catalog. So fuck you, Netflix. See if you get another $7 off me again, you goddamn scrotum sucking fucking capitalist pigs.
So glad I
there's
asked
my
that
rant.
question.
That was poetic.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you for that.
I do my homework about why I hate those people.
I don't understand why they wouldn't allow the whole catalog, and just because you can still watch the movie, you just have to watch the movie with the annoying ads. But why take the whole movie away?
I'm wondering if some of it has to do with how it's licensed with the owners of the property. That maybe they give it to them at a low shit. I just don't know how it would be that maybe they don't get revenue stream from the ads, so then they don't allow them to use it on the ad program.
Sure.
Well, the other thing I was kind of thinking, and I didn't really find any evidence to back it up, is a lot of the ads on Netflix are like more family friendly ones. So I was like, well, maybe they're not allowing their products to be advertised on these sinful horror movies. But like I looked up the movies that they're not allowing to be shown, and that doesn't make any sense either, because it's not just horror movies. Like Girl Interrupted is on one of their like restricted things. So I don't, and that movie is from like 20 years ago, so I don't understand that. So I honestly don't know what their I don't know. I always figure that when a company's not letting you have the full catalog of what they offer, it's just to get you to pay higher revenue. But as I said, that doesn't make sense here because they're making more off their ads than they are with that higher revenue streaming service. So fuck you, Netflix.
Yay!
Nothing against Eli Roth. I love Eli Roth. I think when I was like 13, I made a comment that Eli Roth could spit in my mouth on Facebook. So I love the man. It goes back a long fucking time. My beef is with Netflix.
And beefy it is. All right. So, did you hate? Was it great? Hey, everybody, let's rate. I'm never doing that again.
Oh, that was good.
I'm never doing that again. I'm sorry.
What about for $10? I'll let you keep that $10. I was gonna get out of you.
If you woo one more time, I'll do it. No. Josh, what do you rate it?
Yeah, I'm gonna go again across the board with the audience score, and I'm gonna give it an 8. I dig Eli Roth, so that's where I'm going.
Patrick.
Probably not as high as an 8. I think I'm gonna settle in at about a 7.
Okay. Just because it's popped into my head, Maddy, I know you haven't watched Thanksgiving, but given our analyses, is it something that you would watch?
Yeah, I do plan on watching it
Nice.
when it comes to another streaming platform, and not just because I hate Netflix, but because like I'm sure we're letting our Netflix account expire just because we just don't use it. They don't have content we like.
Fair enough. I would give it a strong 7. Words. Like I said, I would recommend this to anybody that's looking for a really good slasher. I think the twist towards the end is pure Eli Roth, and you're not going to be disappointed with it. I know I wasn't. So definitely check out Thanksgiving if that is something you are interested in. All right. That is our show, unless anybody has anything they wish to plug. Plugging once, plugging twice. September 27th, 28th, and 29th in Seward, Nebraska, the historic Rivoli Theater is hosting the 4th annual Flatwater Film Festival. Come out, watch some great Nebraska-affiliated films, meet the filmmakers themselves as they are in building. We have panels, we have discussions, we've got after parties. You will have a great time. It's only $10 for the weekend. Maddie's got that now because she wooed. She's going to come out. Maybe not. So, Flatwater Film Festival, September 27, 28, 29, 2024. That's a lot of 20s. Seward, Nebraska at the historic Rivoli Theater. From all of us here at the, I almost said Flatwater, Midnight Fright Cast, I am Greg. We've got Maddie, Josh, and Patrick. We will see you next time. Have a great evening.